Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. Just breathe in gently and let that breath out slowly. There you are. I know you've come here today because something inside you is calling for a different relationship with money. Maybe you've been struggling. Maybe you've been trying so hard to make things work financially, and perhaps you've even been saying all the right affirmations. But somehow the abundance you long for still feels just out of reach. I understand this feeling completely, and I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken, you're not doing anything wrong, and you're certainly not being punished by the universe. What I'm about to share with you today might surprise you because we're going to explore how to attract money and abundance without speaking a single word. Not one affirmation, not one verbal declaration, not one plea to the universe. Instead, we're going to discover the profound power of silent manifestation. You see, darling, I've spent many years understanding how energy works, and what I've learned is that the universe is always listening, but not necessarily to our words. The universe is listening to our energy, to our inner state, to the silent conversations we have with ourselves all day long. Think about it for a moment. When you wake up in the morning and look at your bank account, what's happening inside you before you even speak? When you pass by something beautiful in a store window, what energy are you sending out before you say a word? When you think about your bills, your dreams, your future, what's the quality of energy that's moving through you? This is where the real magic happens. In those quiet moments when you think no one is listening, when you believe your thoughts and feelings are private, but they're not private at all. Every feeling, every silent belief, every unexpressed emotion is like a radio signal broadcasting to the universe exactly what you expect to receive. And here's the beautiful truth that I want you to embrace today. You already have everything you need to transform your relationship with money, and it doesn't require you to say anything at all. Money, you see, is simply energy in physical form. It flows like water. It moves like air. It responds to the same universal laws that govern everything else in our beautiful world. And just like any other form of energy, money is drawn to people who are aligned with it, who welcome it, who feel deserving of it, and who create space for it in their lives. This alignment doesn't happen through words or demands or even the most perfectly crafted affirmations. It happens through a quiet, gentle shifting of your inner landscape. When you learn to manifest money without words, you're tapping into something much more powerful than verbal declarations. You're working with the deepest part of yourself, the part that knows truth from wishful thinking, the part that can't be fooled by surface-level attempts at positive thinking. This part of you responds to authenticity, to genuine shifts in how you feel about yourself and your worthiness to receive abundance. I know that money might feel complicated to you right now. Perhaps you've been taught that wanting money is selfish, or that good people don't focus on material things, or that you have to work extremely hard and sacrifice your well-being to earn financial security. These beliefs, these silent stories that run in the background of your mind, they're the real barriers to abundance. And the wonderful news is that you can begin to heal and release these barriers right now, gently and lovingly, without having to fight with them or force them away. The journey we're about to take together is one of coming home to your natural state of abundance. Yes, abundance is your natural state. You were born worthy of all good things, including financial prosperity. Somewhere along the way, you may have picked up stories that convinced you otherwise, but stories can be changed, beliefs can be healed, energy can be shifted, and all of this can happen in the beautiful silence of your own heart, in the sacred space where you meet yourself with love and acceptance. Now let's explore something fascinating together. The universe has its own language, and it's not made up of words at all. It's made up of vibration, of feeling, of energy, of intention. When you truly want to communicate with the universe about money, you don't need to speak its language fluently. You need to feel its language authentically. This is why silent manifestation is so incredibly powerful. Every moment of every day, you're having silent conversations with the universe about money. When you check your bank balance, you're having a conversation. When you see something you'd love to buy, you're having a conversation. When you think about your future, your security, your dreams, you're having a conversation. The question isn't whether these conversations are happening. The question is what kind of conversations they are. Most people are completely unaware of these silent exchanges. They might say positive things about money out loud. They might recite affirmations with great enthusiasm. But meanwhile, their silent conversations are full of worry, doubt, fear, and limitation. The universe, being infinitely wise and attuned to truth, responds to the authentic conversation, not the surface one. This is why someone can say, "I am abundant" 1,000 times a day and still struggle financially, while another person who never speaks about money at all seems to attract it effortlessly. The silent language of money is spoken through your feelings, your expectations, your sense of self-worth, and your relationship with receiving. When you feel genuinely worthy of good things, the universe hears, "Yes, please send abundance." When you feel grateful for what you already have, the universe hears, "This person appreciates gifts, let's send more." When you feel peaceful about your financial future, the universe hears, "This person trusts the flow of abundance, they're ready to receive." But when you feel anxious about money, even while saying positive affirmations, the universe hears the anxiety. When you feel guilty about wanting financial security, the universe hears the guilt. When you feel undeserving of ease and prosperity, the universe hears unworthiness. The universe isn't judging these feelings. It's simply responding to the energy that's most authentic, most true for you in each moment. This is why learning to speak the silent language of money is so transformative. When you begin to notice what you're really communicating energetically, you can start to gently shift those communications. You can begin to feel your way into a more abundant relationship with money, one that's based on truth rather than old programming, one that's rooted in your inherent worthiness rather than in conditions you think you have to meet. The beautiful thing about this silent language is that it's completely natural to you. You already know how to feel, how to sense energy, how to notice what's happening in your body and your heart. You don't need to learn anything new. You simply need to become more aware of what you're already doing and gently guide it in a direction that serves your highest good. Speaking this silent language becomes a practice of checking in with yourself throughout the day. What am I feeling about money right now? What story is playing in the background of my mind? What energy am I sending out into the world? And then, with great gentleness and patience, you can begin to shift that energy, not by forcing different thoughts, but by finding your way to feelings that feel more true, more aligned, more abundant. Your body is incredibly wise, and it's constantly communicating with the universe about money, whether you're aware of it or not. The way you hold yourself, the way you breathe, the way you move through the world, all of these things are sending clear messages about how you feel about abundance, worthiness, and your place in the flow of prosperity. When you feel truly worthy of good things, your body knows it. Your shoulders relax, your breathing deepens. There's a certain ease in how you carry yourself. You move through the world with a quiet confidence that says, "I belong here, I deserve good things, I'm open to receiving." This isn't about pretending or putting on an act. This is about discovering and embodying the truth of your inherent worthiness. Think about someone you know who seems to attract abundance easily. not in a showy or dramatic way, but in that quiet, natural way that makes it look effortless. If you observe them carefully, you'll probably notice something about how they carry themselves. There's often a certain ease, a comfort with taking up space, a willingness to receive compliments and good things without deflecting them. Their body language speaks abundance because they feel abundant inside. Your posture alone can completely change your relationship with money. When you stand tall, when you allow your chest to open, when you let your shoulders relax away from your ears, you're telling the universe, I'm ready to receive good things. When you slouch, when you make yourself small, when you carry tension in your shoulders, you're unconsciously communicating, I'm not sure I deserve to be here. I'm not sure I'm worthy of good things. This isn't about judgment or criticism of how you've been carrying yourself. Your body has been doing its best to keep you safe, and sometimes making yourself small has felt like the safest option. But now you can gently begin to explore what it feels like to take up your rightful space in the world, to carry yourself like someone who belongs, someone who is worthy of abundance. Your breathing patterns also speak volumes to the universe about your relationship with money. When you're anxious about finances, your breathing becomes shallow, tight, restricted. This sends a clear message of scarcity and fear. But when you breathe deeply and fully, when you allow your breath to move freely through your body, you're communicating openness, trust, and readiness to receive. The way you walk, the way you sit, the way you enter a room, all of these physical expressions are part of your silent conversation with the universe about money. When you move with confidence and ease, when you allow yourself to take up space, when you carry yourself with dignity and grace, you're embodying the energy of someone who expects good things to come their way. Even the way you touch and handle objects speaks to your relationship with abundance. Do you touch things gently and appreciatively, as if you're worthy of beautiful things? Or do you handle everything roughly, as if you don't deserve to have nice things? Do you take care of what you have with love and attention, or do you treat your possessions carelessly because you don't feel worthy of them? Your body also holds all your memories and beliefs about money, every experience you've had with money, every message you received about it as a child, every moment of financial stress or abundance. All of this is stored in your body's wisdom, and your body is constantly expressing these stored beliefs through your posture, your gestures, your facial expressions, and your energy. The wonderful news is that you can begin to work with your body to create new patterns, new ways of being that align with abundance. This isn't about forcing your body into unnatural positions or pretending to feel something you don't feel. It's about gently exploring what it feels like to embody worthiness, to carry yourself like someone who deserves good things, to move through the world with the quiet confidence that abundance is your natural state. When you begin to pay attention to your body's money story, you might discover areas of tension that you've been carrying for years. Your shoulders might hold the weight of financial responsibility. Your jaw might be tight from clenching against money worries. Your chest might feel constricted from holding back your dreams and desires. All of this tension is part of your silent conversation with the universe, and all of it can be gently released and transformed. The next step in this beautiful journey is to gently explore what I like to call your inner money clutter. Just as our homes can become filled with things we no longer need, our minds and hearts can become crowded with old beliefs, fears, and stories about money that no longer serve us. These beliefs often operate in the background of our consciousness, quietly influencing every financial decision we make, every opportunity we notice or miss, every feeling we have about our worthiness to receive abundance. Most of us inherited our money beliefs long before we had any real experience with money ourselves. As children, we absorbed the energy around money in our homes like little sponges. We heard the conversations, We felt the tension or ease. We watched how the adults in our lives related to money, and we formed conclusions about what money meant. These early conclusions became the foundation of our money story, and many of us are still living from those childhood understandings, even though we're now adults with completely different circumstances and capabilities. Some of these inherited beliefs might sound familiar to you. Perhaps you learned that money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to work incredibly hard for every penny, that there's never enough to go around, or that wanting money makes you greedy or shallow. Maybe you absorbed the belief that rich people are somehow bad or that poverty is noble. Or perhaps you learned that money causes problems, that it changes people in negative ways, or that it's the root of all evil. These beliefs, whether we consciously agree with them or not, create an invisible barrier between us and the abundance we desire. They're like static interference on a radio, distorting the clear signal we want to send to the universe about our readiness to receive prosperity. The beautiful thing is that once we become aware of these beliefs, we can begin to gently examine them and choose whether they still serve us. Clearing your inner money clutter isn't about fighting with your old beliefs or trying to force them away. It's about bringing them into the light of your current awareness and asking yourself with great kindness, is this belief still true for me? Does this story still serve my highest good? Is this fear still protecting me, or is it now limiting me? When you approach your money beliefs with curiosity rather than judgment, they often begin to shift naturally. One of the most powerful ways to clear inner money clutter is through gentle self-observation. Throughout your day, notice what thoughts and feelings arise when money comes up. When you're paying bills, what stories start playing in your mind? When you see something you'd love to have, what beliefs surface about whether you can or should have it? When you think about your financial future, what fears or excitements come up? This practice isn't about changing anything right away. It's simply about becoming aware of the inner conversation that's always happening. You might discover that you have beliefs you didn't even know were there. You might find that certain situations trigger old fears or limitations that you thought you'd outgrown. This awareness is the first step in transforming your relationship with money, because you can't change what you're not aware of. As you begin to notice your inner money clutter, treat each discovery with the same gentleness you'd show a dear friend. These beliefs served a purpose at some point in your life. They were your mind's way of keeping you safe, of helping you navigate a world that sometimes felt uncertain or threatening. Thank these old beliefs for their service, and then gently ask if they're still needed in your life today. Sometimes, clearing money clutter involves healing old wounds around money. Perhaps you experienced financial trauma, times when money was scarce and you felt unsafe or uncertain. Maybe you've been betrayed or hurt in situations involving money. These experiences can create energetic blocks that keep abundance at a distance, not because you consciously choose to reject prosperity, but because part of you still associates money with pain or danger. Healing these old wounds happens through compassion, not force. When painful memories surface, hold them gently. Acknowledge the hurt, the fear, the disappointment that you felt. Let yourself feel whatever needs to be felt without trying to rush past the emotions or talk yourself out of them. Your feelings are valid, your experiences matter, and healing happens when we allow ourselves to feel fully and completely. As you clear your inner money clutter, you might also discover limiting beliefs about your own worthiness and capabilities. Perhaps you've been telling yourself that you're not smart enough, educated enough, talented enough, or connected enough to create real abundance. Maybe you believe that people like you don't get to have financial ease, or that you're destined to struggle because of your background, your age, your circumstances, or your past mistakes. These self-limiting beliefs are often the deepest form of money clutter because they're not just about money, they're about your fundamental sense of self-worth. Transforming these beliefs requires great patience and love. Start by noticing when these thoughts arise and then gently challenge them with questions like, is this absolutely true? How do I know this is true? Who would I be without this belief? What becomes possible when I release this limitation? The process of clearing inner money clutter is ongoing and organic. You don't need to excavate every old belief at once or heal every wound before you can begin to experience greater abundance. As you continue this work with gentleness and consistency, old patterns naturally begin to dissolve, making space for new, more empowering beliefs to take root. One of the most transformative discoveries you can make as you clear your inner money clutter is that abundance is not something you have to earn or prove yourself worthy of. Abundance is your natural birthright, your original state of being. Every limitation, every block, every fear you've carried about money is simply something that was added to your natural abundance, like dust on a mirror. When you clear away the dust, the mirror's ability to reflect light is revealed as having been there all along. Now, let's explore one of the most powerful and gentle ways to shift your energy around money, the practice of grateful receiving. This isn't about forcing gratitude or pretending to feel thankful when you don't. True grateful receiving is about recognizing and appreciating the abundance that's already flowing in your life, often in ways you might not have noticed before. Most of us have been taught to focus on what's missing, what's not working, what we don't have enough of. This focus creates a vibration of lack that the universe responds to by sending more experiences of not having enough. But when you begin to notice and appreciate what is flowing, what is working, what you do have, you create a vibration of abundance that naturally attracts more abundance. Grateful receiving starts with the smallest things: the air you breathe freely, the sun that shines without sending you a bill, the smile from a stranger, the comfortable place you have to sleep, the food in your refrigerator, the clothes that keep you warm. These might seem like basic necessities rather than abundance, but to the universe, abundance is abundance. When you truly appreciate what you have, you're telling the universe, I notice good things, I value gifts, I'm ready for more. This practice extends to money and resources in beautiful ways. When you receive your paycheck, instead of immediately thinking about all the bills it needs to cover, take a moment to appreciate that money flowed to you. When you find a penny on the street, instead of dismissing it as insignificant, pick it up and say a silent thank you for the reminder that money flows in unexpected ways. When someone treats you to coffee or a meal, receive it fully without feeling guilty or indebted. Grateful receiving also means becoming more aware of all the ways abundance shows up that don't involve money at all. The friend who offers to help you move, the neighbor who shares vegetables from their garden, the stranger who lets you go ahead of them in line, the library that gives you free access to thousands of books. All of these are forms of abundance. All of them are the universe showing you how much it loves to give, how much it wants to support you. Many people struggle with receiving because they've learned that it's better to give than to receive, or that receiving somehow makes them selfish or greedy. But receiving is actually an essential part of the flow of abundance. When you receive gracefully, you're completing a circuit that allows even more giving to happen. When you deflect compliments, refuse help, or feel guilty about gifts, you're essentially telling the universe, please don't send me good things. Learning to receive starts with small things. When someone compliments you, instead of deflecting it or explaining why they're wrong, simply say, "Thank you." When someone offers to help you, consider saying yes instead of automatically declining. When you accomplish something, allow yourself to feel proud instead of immediately minimizing your achievement. These small acts of receiving create an energy of openness that extends to all areas of your life, including money. The energy of grateful receiving is magnetic. When you truly appreciate what you have, when you receive gifts and compliments gracefully, when you acknowledge the abundance that's already flowing in your life, you become like a magnet for more good things. The universe loves to give to people who notice and appreciate its gifts, who receive them with joy and grace rather than guilt or obligation. This doesn't mean you should become passive or stop taking action toward your goals. Grateful receiving works best when it's combined with inspired action, when you're both appreciating what is and actively participating in creating what you desire. The key is to take action from a place of abundance rather than desperation, from joy rather than fear, from trust rather than doubt. As you practice grateful receiving, you might notice that your relationship with money begins to soften and flow more naturally. Instead of grasping at abundance or pushing it away, you learn to dance with it, to work with its natural rhythms, to trust that there's always enough and that you're always taken care of. One of the most profound tools for manifesting money without words is what I call visualization as silent prayer. This isn't about forcing your mind to create elaborate fantasies or trying to manipulate the universe through mental imagery. True visualization is a gentle, heart-centered practice of communing with the energy of what you desire, of feeling your way into the reality you want to create. When you approach visualization as a form of prayer, you're not demanding that the universe give you what you want. Instead, you're opening a conversation. You're sharing your dreams and desires with the loving intelligence that governs all life, and you're allowing yourself to feel what it would be like if those dreams were already real. This feeling state is incredibly powerful because the universe responds to how you feel much more than to what you think. The most effective money visualizations aren't about seeing yourself with piles of cash or expensive possessions. They're about feeling the emotions that financial abundance would bring you. What would security feel like in your body? How would freedom express itself in your daily life? What would peace around money feel like? What would it be like to give generously without worry? What would it feel like to pursue your dreams without financial constraints? When you focus on the feeling states rather than the specific material outcomes, your visualizations become much more powerful because you're aligning with the essence of what you truly want. You might think you want a certain amount of money, but what you really want is the feeling that money represents. Security, freedom, peace, joy, the ability to contribute and share. As you practice this form of visualization, allow the images to arise naturally rather than forcing them. You might see yourself in a beautiful home, or traveling to places you've always wanted to visit, or pursuing work that feels meaningful and fulfilling. You might visualize yourself helping others, creating something beautiful, or simply feeling deeply peaceful about your financial situation. Let these images flow organically from your heart rather than constructing them with your mind. The key to effective visualization is to make it feel real in your body. As you see yourself living abundantly, let yourself feel the emotions that would accompany that reality. Let your body relax into the security. Let your breath deepen with the peace. Let your heart expand with the joy. The more real it feels in your body, the more powerful the visualization becomes. This practice works best when you approach it with a sense of play and possibility rather than desperation or attachment. When you're trying too hard to make something happen through visualization, you're actually pushing it away. But when you allow yourself to explore and enjoy the feeling of abundance, when you treat your visualization like a beautiful dream that you're sharing with the universe, you create space for magic to happen. Some days your visualizations will feel vivid and real, and other days they might feel flat or forced. This is completely natural. Don't judge the quality of your visualization or worry that you're not doing it right. The universe responds to your sincere intention much more than to perfect technique. Even a simple moment of feeling grateful for abundance, even a brief sense of peace about your financial future, is a powerful prayer. The timing and frequency of your visualizations matter less than the quality of presence you bring to them. You might spend just a few minutes each morning feeling into the reality of abundance, or you might find natural moments throughout your day to touch into that feeling state. The key is consistency and authenticity rather than duration or intensity. As you practice visualization as silent prayer, you might begin to notice that opportunities, ideas, and resources start appearing in your life in unexpected ways. This isn't coincidence. It's the natural result of aligning your energy with abundance. When you consistently feel worthy of good things, when you regularly commune with the energy of prosperity, when you allow yourself to believe that abundance is possible for you, the universe begins to rearrange itself to match that new energy. The beautiful truth about manifesting money is that it happens through the accumulation of small, conscious choices you make throughout each day. Every decision you make, every action you take, every response you choose sends a clear message to the universe about who you are and what you believe you deserve. This isn't about perfection or getting every choice right. It's about bringing more awareness to your daily life and allowing that awareness to guide you toward choices that align with abundance. When you begin to see your daily actions as a form of communication with the universe, everything becomes an opportunity to express your worthiness, your trust in life's abundance, and your readiness to receive good things. The way you spend your money, no matter how little or how much you have, tells a story about your relationship with abundance. Do you spend with joy and appreciation, or with fear and resentment? Do you invest in things that nourish your soul and support your dreams, or do you throw money away on things that don't really matter to you? Conscious spending isn't about spending more money or buying expensive things. It's about being intentional with whatever resources you have. When you buy groceries, choose foods that make you feel good, that nourish your body and bring you pleasure. When you need clothing, select pieces that make you feel confident and comfortable rather than settling for things that don't really fit or reflect who you are. When you have a little extra money, consider investing it in experiences or items that truly enhance your life rather than impulse purchases that you'll forget about quickly. The way you care for what you already have also speaks volumes about your readiness for more abundance. When you treat your possessions with love and respect, when you keep your living space clean and organized, when you maintain your car and your clothes and your belongings, you're telling the universe, I value what I have. I'm grateful for these gifts. I'm ready to be trusted with more. This doesn't mean everything has to be perfect or expensive. It means treating whatever you have, however humble, with the care and appreciation it deserves. Your relationship with work and money-earning activities is another powerful way to align your daily actions with abundance. When you approach your work with enthusiasm and appreciation, when you look for ways to serve and contribute rather than just collecting a paycheck, when you invest in developing your skills and talents, you're creating the energy that attracts greater opportunities and higher income. This is true whether you love your current job or you're working toward something different. Even if your current work situation isn't ideal, you can still approach it as a stepping stone rather than a prison. Look for lessons to learn, skills to develop, people to appreciate, ways to grow. When you bring this energy to any work situation, you often find that new opportunities begin to appear, that people notice your positive attitude, that doors start opening in unexpected ways. The daily practice of giving, even in small ways, is one of the most powerful actions you can take to align with abundance. This doesn't mean giving money you can't afford to give or depleting yourself to help others. It means looking for opportunities to share your talents, your time, your attention, your kindness. When you hold the door for someone, when you offer a genuine compliment, when you share your skills to help a friend, when you donate clothes you no longer wear, you're participating in the flow of abundance. Giving creates a circulation of energy that naturally returns to you multiplied. But the key is to give from joy rather than obligation, from abundance rather than guilt. When giving feels forced or resentful, it actually blocks the flow of abundance rather than enhancing it. Trust your inner guidance about when and how to give, and remember that taking care of yourself is also a form of giving to the world. Your daily choices about how you spend your time also communicate your values and priorities to the universe. When you make time for things that bring you joy, when you invest in relationships that matter to you, when you pursue activities that develop your talents or expand your awareness, you're living from abundance. When you constantly rush, when you fill every moment with busy work, when you never make time for rest or pleasure, you're living from scarcity. The practice of taking inspired action means learning to distinguish between actions that come from fear and actions that come from love. Fear-based actions feel forced, urgent, desperate. They often involve trying to control outcomes or manipulating situations to get what you want. Love-based actions feel natural, joyful, expansive. They flow from a place of trust and excitement rather than anxiety and desperation. As you become more conscious of your daily choices, you'll start to notice that small shifts in how you approach routine activities can create significant changes in how you feel about money and abundance. The goal isn't to become rigid or obsessive about every choice, but to bring more awareness and intention to your daily life, allowing that awareness to guide you toward actions that feel aligned and authentic. One of the most challenging yet essential aspects of manifesting money without words is learning to trust divine timing and surrender your need to control exactly how abundance shows up in your life. This doesn't mean becoming passive or giving up on your dreams. It means learning to work with the natural flow of life rather than fighting against it, understanding that the universe often has better plans for you than the ones you can imagine from your current perspective. Trust begins with accepting that you don't have to figure everything out. You don't need to know exactly how your financial situation will improve, what opportunities will appear, or through what channels abundance will flow to you. Your job is to stay clear about what you want, maintain your alignment with abundance, take inspired action when opportunities arise, and trust that the universe is always working in your favor, even when you can't see the bigger picture. This trust isn't blind faith or wishful thinking. It's based on the understanding that life is fundamentally supportive, that there's an intelligence governing all existence that wants you to thrive and prosper. When you look back at your life, you can probably see times when things worked out better than you expected, when doors opened just when you needed them to, when help appeared from unexpected sources. This is the universal flow in action, and it's always available to you. Learning to trust divine timing means releasing your attachment to specific deadlines and timelines. Yes, it's important to have goals and to take action toward them, but holding too tightly to when things should happen often creates stress and resistance that actually slows down the manifestation process. When you can hold your desires lightly, when you can stay excited about your goals while remaining flexible about timing, you create space for miracles to unfold. patient expectancy is one of the most powerful energetic states you can cultivate. This means maintaining a quiet confidence that good things are coming while remaining peacefully present with what is. It's the energy of someone who has planted seeds in a garden and trusts that with proper care and patience, those seeds will grow into a beautiful harvest. You don't dig up the seeds every day to check if they're growing. You don't worry that they'll never sprout. You simply tend the garden and trust in the natural process of growth. This doesn't mean you sit back and wait for abundance to fall from the sky. Patient expectancy includes taking inspired action, staying alert to opportunities, and saying yes when the universe presents you with chances to move forward. But it's action taken from trust rather than desperation, from excitement rather than fear, from knowing rather than doubt. Sometimes the universe's timing seems slow from our human perspective, but when we look back, we often see that the timing was perfect. Perhaps you needed to develop certain skills first, or meet specific people, or heal particular aspects of yourself before you were ready for the abundance you desired. Perhaps the opportunities that are coming are bigger and better than what you originally asked for, and they required more preparation than you realized. Working with divine timing also means staying open to abundance showing up in forms you didn't expect. Maybe you asked for a specific amount of money, but instead you receive an opportunity that could lead to much more. Maybe you hoped for a particular job, but you're offered something different that turns out to be even better suited to your talents and dreams. Maybe the abundance comes through relationships, experiences, or resources rather than cash, but it still meets your needs in beautiful ways. The practice of surrender doesn't mean giving up your desires or stopping your efforts. It means holding your goals lightly, staying open to even better possibilities, and trusting that if something doesn't happen the way you planned, it's because the universe has something better in store for you. This kind of surrender actually accelerates manifestation because it removes resistance and allows energy to flow more freely. As you learn to trust divine timing, you might notice that your relationship with money becomes much more peaceful. Instead of constantly worrying about when abundance will arrive, you can focus on enjoying the present moment and appreciating what's already flowing in your life. This peace and appreciation become powerful magnets for even greater abundance. Living as your wealthy self means embodying the energy of abundance right now, regardless of your current financial circumstances. This isn't about pretending you have money you don't have or spending beyond your means. It's about cultivating the internal experience of wealth, the feelings and attitudes and ways of being that abundance would bring, and allowing those qualities to express themselves in your daily life. Wealth, at its deepest level, isn't about having a certain amount of money in the bank. Wealth is a state of consciousness, a way of relating to life that's characterized by generosity, appreciation, confidence, peace, and joy. You can begin to embody these qualities immediately, and as you do, you'll find that external abundance naturally begins to align with your internal state. One of the most powerful ways to live as your wealthy self is to practice generosity within your current means. This might mean leaving a larger tip when you can afford it, bringing flowers to a friend, offering your skills to help someone in need, or simply being generous with your compliments and appreciation. When you give from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, you're training yourself to think and feel like someone who has plenty to share. The wealthy version of yourself also treats yourself with kindness and respect. This means investing in your health, your growth, your happiness, even in small ways. It might mean buying the better quality food that nourishes your body, taking a class that interests you, or creating a beautiful space in your home, even if it's just one corner that feels special to you. These investments don't have to be expensive, but they do need to come from a place of believing you deserve good things. Living as your wealthy self includes making choices that honor your long-term well-being rather than just seeking immediate gratification. The wealthy version of yourself thinks about the future, invests in relationships, develops skills, and makes decisions that will benefit you down the road. This might mean saying no to impulse purchases so you can save for something more meaningful, or choosing to spend time with people who support your growth rather than those who drain your energy. The internal experience of wealth also includes a sense of security and peace about money. Even if your bank account isn't where you want it to be yet, you can begin to cultivate the feeling that you're always taken care of, that there's always enough, that you can trust in your ability to create and attract whatever you need. This inner security becomes a foundation for external abundance to build upon. Part of living as your wealthy self is also about how you present yourself to the world. This doesn't mean buying expensive clothes or trying to look rich. It means carrying yourself with dignity, taking care of your appearance in ways that make you feel confident, and treating others with the respect and kindness that comes from knowing your own worth. When you feel valuable, others sense that value and respond accordingly. The wealthy version of yourself also maintains high standards for how you're treated and how you treat others. You don't accept disrespect or settle for less than you deserve, but you also don't demand that others prove their worth to you. You operate from a place of mutual respect and appreciation, understanding that everyone has value and everyone deserves to be treated well. Perhaps most importantly, living as your wealthy self means maintaining an attitude of possibility and excitement about the future. Instead of focusing on limitations and problems, you naturally look for opportunities and solutions. Instead of complaining about what's wrong, you invest your energy in creating what's right. This positive focus doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but it does mean approaching them from a place of confidence rather than defeat. As you practice living as your wealthy self, you might be surprised at how quickly your external circumstances begin to shift. When you consistently embody the energy of abundance, when you make choices from wealth, consciousness rather than scarcity thinking, when you treat yourself and others as if everyone deserves good things, you become a magnet for opportunities, resources, and relationships that support your prosperity. Now, as we come to the end of our time together, I want you to understand that everything we've explored today is meant to be integrated gently into your daily life. You don't need to change everything at once or become perfect at manifesting money without words. This is a practice, a way of being that develops over time through patience, kindness, and consistency. The most important thing you can do as you move forward is to be gentle with yourself. There will be days when you forget to check in with your energy, when old fears surface, when you fall back into worry about money. This is completely natural and doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Simply notice what's happening with compassion. Take a deep breath and gently guide yourself back to the practices that feel most supportive. Start small and build gradually. Perhaps you begin by simply noticing your body's posture a few times each day and allowing yourself to stand a little taller. Maybe you practice grateful receiving by really appreciating one good thing that happens each day. Or you might start your morning by spending just a few minutes feeling into the energy of abundance, allowing yourself to sense what financial peace would feel like in your body. The key is consistency rather than intensity. A few minutes of authentic practice each day will create more lasting change than hours of forced effort once a week. Trust your own rhythm and pace, and remember that every small step you take toward embodying abundance is valuable and meaningful. As you continue this journey, pay attention to the subtle shifts that begin to happen. You might notice that you feel more confident, that opportunities start appearing, that your relationship with money becomes more peaceful, that people respond to you differently. These changes often happen gradually, so be patient and keep your awareness open to the good things that are flowing into your life. Remember that you're not trying to manipulate the universe or force money to come to you. You're simply aligning yourself with the abundance that's already your birthright, removing the barriers that have kept prosperity at a distance, and opening yourself to receive the good things that life wants to give you. This alignment is natural, it's loving, and it's completely available to you right now. You are worthy of abundance, dear one. You don't have to earn this worthiness or prove it to anyone, including yourself. You were born worthy of all good things, and that worthiness has never changed, regardless of your past experiences, your current circumstances, or your previous beliefs about money. Every practice we've explored today is simply a way of remembering and embodying this fundamental truth. As you go forward, carry with you the understanding that the universe is always supporting you, always working in your favor, always conspiring to bring you exactly what you need for your highest good. Your job is simply to stay open, to trust the process, and to continue aligning yourself with the abundant love that's the source of all prosperity. Take a deep breath with me now, and as you exhale, let yourself feel how loved you are, how supported you are, how worthy you are of every beautiful thing life has to offer. This feeling, this knowing, this quiet confidence in your inherent worthiness is the foundation of all abundance. From this place, all things are possible, and your dreams are not only achievable, they're inevitable. Go gently into your beautiful life, knowing that abundance in all its forms is flowing to you right now, and that your job is simply to receive it with an open heart and grateful spirit. You have everything you need within you to create the prosperous, joyful life you deserve. Trust in this truth, and watch as the universe responds to your trust with endless gifts of love and abundance.